You see one of the crew members in the water. Bodyguard has flipped over, but looks like no injuries, no problems really with the crew. And that's the important thing. We did have an onboard camera aboard Bodyguard. Of course, that is now out of commission. Our onboard camera aboard Bodyguard. No injuries aboard C-10 Bodyguard. It's flipped over here at this 1995 Florida State Offshore Boat Championships. Team Spectre with Phil Semmel and Scott Cates along to lend some assistance. Their rookie race for Phil and Scott, and it's good to see them help out here. As we said, freeze frame video had an onboard camera aboard C-10 Bodyguard, so we're going to go along for a ride now and take a look at what it looked like just before the flip. C-10 Bodyguard. Al Fiala and Mr. Alan Wagner aboard. And at this point, they don't seem to be having any problems whatsoever, but very shortly you will see what happened. Oh, there it goes, there it goes. It's flipped over. Bodyguard has gone 180 and has flipped over, and there you can see it's upside down. Some blue sky there. You can see the hull now is totally upside down. But as we said, Mr. Al Fiala and Alan Wagner got out safely. No injuries involved here in this. As we look to the leaders, we've got Gone Clear, Alco Motorsports, and Jaws. Uh-oh, we got a major problem. Uh-oh, Jaws has hooked and flipped over. Jaws, a 46-foot skater, has flipped over. There probably must have been some mechanical problems because it's really unusual here, the first turn. There you see that 46-foot skater. Let's see it one more time. It's hooking and now flipping over. 46-foot skater with Dave Wesseldike and Dennis Kaiser aboard. Jaws right around the first turn. Very unusual. We feel that it's probably a mechanical problem for that to happen. Unbelievable sportsmanship by the Ohio Steel Racing Team. Mr. John Revett and Hurley Stepp pulling over to Jaws to help out fellow competitors Dennis Kaiser and Dave Wesseldike. We can tell you that Dennis and Dave are okay, but we're going to see this one more time. There you see Jaws on the outside going around the turn. Hooking and flipping over. Dennis Kaiser and Dave Wesseldike aboard this 46-foot skater, but they are okay. Once again, Ohio Steel going over to help out. Great sportsmanship. There's that 46-foot skater upside down on Ohio Steel right there. Welcome to the 1995 Florida State Offshore Boat Championships, coming to you from East Lake Tahoe, St. Cloud, Florida. Hi, everyone. This is Vince Lopari on behalf of Jeff Girardi and the rest of the Freeze Frame Video production crew. This is Freeze Frame's first race of 1995, and we had a great World Championship last year in Key West, Florida, with APBA, U.S. Offshore, SBR, and the Puerto Rico Club all getting together for the very first time in offshore history to put on such an event. Great World Championships in Key West. Now for the first race of this 1995 racing season, Freeze Frame Video has 4 onboard cameras during this race, this Florida State Offshore Boat Championships. 4 onboard cameras. Bring you some exciting drive review shots. There's one of them there aboard Heartbeat. Heartbeat. We also have a camera on Thrasher. There it is. Also on Bodyguard and Sundays on the Bay. 4 onboard cameras for Freeze Frame Video in this Florida State Offshore Boat Championships. Now, as we look at this beautiful marina here in St. Cloud, we'll tell you that very shortly we will be airborne for the 7th annual Florida State Offshore Boat Championships. All right, now, as you can see, our Freeze Frame Video helicopter airborne over St. Cloud Boat Basin there, the beautiful marina here in St. Cloud, Florida there. We have 4 onboard cameras, 4 onboard cameras during this race. Here we have our first aboard Heartbeat Racing Team. Also, our second camera, Sundays on the Bay. There you see Carlos Aguiar and Mike Benitez. 32-foot skater, Sundays on the Bay. Other P-boats include Terminator, Spectre, and Full Throttle. But right now you are aboard Sundays on the Bay. There's our Universal Air helicopter, our helicopter service provided by Universal Air, a great helicopter company out of Orlando, Florida. Our pilot today, Mr. Roy Henley, Universal Air. They do a great job. We've been with them a long time. Now we're on board Bodyguard in the milling area. 3rd onboard camera. Beautiful day today, but very windy, and so the waters in Lake Tahoe are on the bumpy side here for this first APBA divisional race of 1995. 33 boats entered in all here at this Florida State Offshore Boat Championships. Now we're aboard Thrasher with our 4th onboard camera. There's Mike Alexander and Mike Belgium, sometimes known as Beljar. He's from Massapaqua. Mike Belgium aboard Thrasher. 4 onboard cameras today for this first race of the season. There's the pace boat. On board now, Bodyguard with an onboard camera. There's Pantera Racing cutting alongside. There's Full Throttle on the left, as we see on the left of the picture. Full Throttle now as we begin spreading apart, trying to find an opening here for the beginning of this race. We're on board Bodyguard. A few moments away from this race now, the Florida State Offshore Boat Championships. And the lineup consists of Mobile One on the inside, Full Throttle, Bodyguard, Pantera Racing, Airborne, Tsunami, Dragon Lady, and Terminator. And we've got the green flag now. The Florida State Offshore Boat Championships has begun. They're all off to a great start. Mobile One, Full Throttle, Bodyguard, Pantera, Airborne, Tsunami, Dragon Lady, and Terminator. But Mobile One and Full Throttle on the front now, out in front. Mobile One on the inside with Full Throttle on the outside. Mobile One shot out of a cannon here in the early moments of this Florida State Offshore Boat Championships. Mobile One, a 28-foot skater with modifieds 200s, 2 modified 200s. Tom Russell and Rob Loeffler aboard Mobile One. Running excellent in C-Class at C10 Bodyguard, a 28-foot Douglas skater powered by 2.5 EFIs aboard Albert Fiella from New York. Throttle-man Alan Wagner from St. Cloud, Florida. Bodyguard C10. Bodyguard Racing Team, we'd like to thank Richie from Cody Marine, Alan Wagner from Wagner Racing, Mike Nicholson from Geographics, Hughes Boat Haven out of City Island, and Howard Johnson's from Kissimmee Lodge. Also, special thanks to MF Electric. And Mr. Albert Fiella would like to thank his family for their support and understanding. Also, daughters Lisa, Michelle, and son Albert. Bodyguard C10 running excellent in C-Class. Alan Wagner, fine job at throttles. We're aboard now with our onboard camera aboard this 28-foot Douglas skater. Bodyguards splashing on our lens. Bumpy waters here in St. Cloud. 1995 Florida State Offshore Boat Championships, first divisional race, APBA. Listen to those two 2.5 EFIs. Spectre on the outside there on the left. Spectre going by. On the right, Tsunami. Tsunami. Spectre on the left, Tsunami on the right. And right behind, Sunday's on the bay on the right side. Sunday's on the bay. With our onboard camera there on board C10, a driver's eye view of what's going on here in this race. Back to our helicopter shot. Albert Fiala and Alan Wagner aboard Bodyguard. Uh-oh, we've had a problem. One of the boats has flipped over. It's Bodyguard down the right side, C10. Bodyguard with Mr. Al Fiala and Alan Wagner has flipped over. And it looks like Team Spectre with Phil Semmel and Scott Cates has come over to lend some assistance. There you see one of the crew members in the water. Bodyguard has flipped over, but looks like no injuries, no problems really with the crew. And that's the important thing. We did have an onboard camera aboard Bodyguard. Of course, that is now out of commission. Our onboard camera aboard Bodyguard. No injuries aboard C10 Bodyguard. It's flipped over here at this 1995 Florida State Offshore Boat Championships. Team Spectre with Phil Semmel and Scott Cates along to lend some assistance. Their rookie race for Phil and Scott. It's good to see them help out here. Just before the flip, C10 Bodyguard. Al Fiala and Mr. Alan Wagner aboard. At this point, they don't seem to be having any problems whatsoever, but very shortly you will see what happened. Oh, there it goes, there it goes. It's flipped over. Bodyguard has gone 180 and has flipped over, and there you can see it's upside down. Some blue sky there. You can see the hull now is totally upside down. But as we said, Mr. Al Fiala and Alan Wagner got out safely. No injuries involved here in this 28-foot Douglas skater. There you can hear the water. Trying to do what he can to help out in the situation. And very shortly now, we're going to take another look at that flip in slow motion with our freeze frame video onboard camera. And here we go. Once again, there you see the dramatic pictures of the flip over of Bodyguard. Bodyguard in C-Class. Your leader in S-Class is S57 Thrasher, 24-foot skater, powered by two 200-horsepower Mariner outboards. The driver, Mike Alexander from West Islip, New York. Throttleman Mike Belgian from Patchogue, New York. S57 Thrasher, #1 right now in S-Class. Now, the Thrasher Racing Team would like to thank Mercury Lake X and crew members as well. Also TJA Auto Collision in Farmingdale and Nappy. Also Ralph from Lindenhurst Outboard in Lindenhurst, New York, and the ladies of the crew, Dawn and Donna. Crasher Racing place in S-Class, S2, Team Florida, 24-foot skater, powered by 200 horsepower Mercury Outboards. Driver Richard Spaeth from Lakeland, Florida. Throttleman Edward Spaeth, also from Lakeland, Florida. Team Florida in second place in S-Class. Now, this Team Florida boat is for sale and is race ready for the 1995 National Circuit. The boat is well equipped with the latest Mercury updates and spare equipment. This is a great opportunity for someone to purchase a winning boat. In 1994, Team Florida recorded race wins in Sarasota, Jacksonville, and back-to-back wins in the preliminary races on Friday's racing in Galveston, Texas, to end up finishing second overall for the weekend in Texas. For more information, you can contact Edward Spaeth. Team Florida currently in second place in S-Class. Now, the sponsor for Team Florida in this race is Paratron Batteries. Also, Corey Titoli with Royal Batteries. Some of the crew members include Pat Moylan, Ratty Stake, Eric Linsberg, and Tony Griffith. Team Florida, S2, a 24-foot skater. Driver Richard Spaeth, Throttleman Edward Spaeth, both from Lakeland, Florida. Getting ready for the beginning of this 1995 Great American Series. As we look forward, we can tell you that the dealer pace boat has pulled off the course, and now we are approaching the start-finish boat. And apparently the dealer pace boat likes the way the boats are lined up in the starting grid. As we approach now the beginning of this race, we're approaching, and we've got the green flag now. The first annual Great American Series here in Fort Pierce, Florida has begun. It's underway. Mobile One, little flying going on with Rob Loeffler and Tom Russell. Let's see it again. Great start in his first race of the Great American Series, going to the immediate lead. Brand new 30-foot motion. There's Mobile One with Rob Loeffler and Mr. Russell aboard. Mobile One now picking up on Locomotion. Mobile One on the inside. On the outside, it's Locomotion. Mobile One now gained little distance over Locomotion. Battle going on here between these two S-boats, Mobile One and Locomotion. On the outside now, Locomotion picking up some room. Locomotion and Mobile One battling it out here for first place in this first race of S-boats. On the outside, Locomotion now picking up some room. Mobile One on the inside. C4 Mobile One, a 28-foot skater powered by two modified 200s. Aboard driver Tom Russell and throttleman Rob Loeffler, both from Fort Lauderdale. Mobile One. Rob Loeffler, owner throttleman, was just inducted into the Hall of Champions for the second consecutive year. Mobile One, 3 consecutive national championships in stock class. As we said, Tom Russell, or Mr. Russell, the driver for Mobile One. And Mobile One would like to thank their sponsors, including VDO, Quality Machine Products, Rex Marine, CMC Powerlift, and Timothy Wall Nationwide Insurance. Going around the turn there, very close between Mobile One and Locomotion. Mobile One on the inside, Locomotion on the outside. Hanging and banging going on here in these rough waters off of Fort Pierce, Florida. In this first race in the Great American Series, Mobile One now picking up some room, as you can see. Very competitive racing going on here between these two S-boats, Mobile One and Locomotion. The Mobile One Racing Team would also like to thank Mr. Albert Ensweiler, the crew chief. Mobile One on the inside, Locomotion on the outside. Very competitive right now in the early moments of this race. Mobile One took the pole position in this race right now on the inside. Mobile One. There is Team Hydrolift, also known as the Taz Racing Team, coming up very quickly. Coming up. Team Hydrolift placed fourth in qualifying time, but right now is up right there with the leaders. Team Hydrolift in the middle. There's Locomotion on the outside. Mobile One on the inside. Very, very close here. All of these three boats battling for first place in S-Class. Unbelievable racing going on. Our helicopter pilot, Russell Kilpatrick, doing a great job keeping up with these boats. Mobile One, Team Hydrolift, and Locomotion on the outside. All hanging and banging in these rough waters here. All very close. First, second, and third. Mobile One still holding a very slim lead. And they're in the middle. Team Hydrolift, also known as the Taz Racing Team. And we got Locomotion on the outside. Going around the turn now. 25 laps in this race. 2.5-mile course. A lot of flying going on as you see Team Hydrolift picking up some air. Mobile One in the lead as we go around the turn. How sweet it is. A 24-foot skater powered by two 2.5 VFIs. Driver owner Carl Myers from Canada's New York. Throttle man is Hurley Stepp. Now Hurley Stepp is throttling today because, well, How Sweet It Is had a mishap in the qualifying times and failed to qualify. And George Peterson, who was throttling, was hurt. He fractured his shoulder, but he is okay. Apparently, How Sweet It Is, this 24-foot skater stuffed it, and that was the problem. But everyone is okay, and Carl Myers and Hurley Stepp in the race today. Now, Carl Myers has had almost just about every possible skater you could have. This 24-foot skater was his very first race boat in 1990. He has not raced it since 1992. Of course, the boat has been raced, but he hasn't driven it, so this is an interesting race for him right now, being in this 24-foot skater. Since the 24-footer, he has purchased a 32-footer, then a 28-footer, and of course the 40-footer skater, which he has raced very well in Key West. The only one he doesn't have is a 46-foot skater. Just one boat short of buying the whole line of skaters. Sir Carl Myers doing an excellent job, as is Hurley Stepp right now in this great American series. And in just a few moments, we're going aboard with Mr. Carl Myers and Hurley Stepp with our onboard camera, and there they are. Let's catch some of the action. Nice throttling job, Hurley Stepp. Filling in for Mr. George Peterson. Hurley Stepp doing an excellent job. Nice driving, Carl Myers. Rough waters off of Fort Pierce. We're inside this 24-foot skater powered by two 2.5s. Mobile One seems to be right on course, so we're going to go with Mobile One. Mobile One, a 28-foot Douglas skater. Owner throttle man is Robert Loeffler. Driver Tom Russell. Powered by two modified Mercury 200s. Now, Mobile One has 3 consecutive national championships in stock class, and this is their first year running an offshore C class. Loeffler, by the way, was inducted into the Hall of Champions for the 1993-94 seasons and currently holds the kilo speed record in stock class. Mobile One would like to thank their terrific hosting hotel, Best Western Pink Shell Resort, for their hospitality, also for their continued support. Fast Track Communications, Red's Marine Quality Machine Products, and Timothy Wall Nationwide Insurance. You're looking at Mobile One, who is now the leader in C class. Mobile One. As we said before, Harris Megabucks and Sudden Impact went off course, putting Mobile One in first place. Mobile One. Best of luck to Mobile One in this race and the remainder of this 1995 racing season. Little bumpy out there off of Fort Myers Beach in this first national APBA race of the 1995 season. Bumpy waters. There's a battle in C-Class going on between Secret Agent on the inside, Courageous Cat on the outside. Secret Agent now moving into third place. C32 Secret Agent, a 28-foot skater powered by two 2.5 EFIs. Driver Jackie Jensen from Arlington, Washington. Throttle Paul Whittier from Friday Harbor, Washington. Secret Agent C32, we believe, in third place. Right now, Harris Megabucks in first. In second, Mobile One in C-Class. But it's C32, Secret Agent in third. And running excellent. Two 2.5 EFIs. Cloudy skies here in Fort Myers Beach. Mercury outboards. Tropical Depression Allison delayed us for about an hour and a half, but as you can see, we're off in this race, and right now everyone is running excellent. Secret Agent in third place. Paul and Bud doing a great job aboard this 28-foot skater. There's Fort Myers Beach there in the distance. Another great battle in C-Class going on right now between Sierra and Intense Marine on the outside. Intense Marine and Sierra on the inside. Sierra C77. And there you see now Sierra and Intense Marine battling in C-Class, both very close together. Great competition between these two boats. Sierra, a 28-foot skater. Sierra and Intense Marine just about deadlocked right now. Door-to-door racing going on between these two boats in C-Class. First national APBA race of the 95 season. As we said, Sierra is a 28-foot skater powered by two 265 horsepower Mercury outboards. Driver Mike Nicholson from Miami. Throttle man Charlie Schaefer from Carlisle, Illinois. The owner, Charlie Schaefer. Sierra, a little loose there, C77 in these bumpy waters off of Fort Myers Beach, Florida. Now the Sierra quality marine hose, engine, and drive parts. Sierra is the marine marketing arm of Eklund Incorporated, a Fortune 500 company. Sierra is celebrating 30 years of serving the marine industry. Sierra delivers over 100,000 parts per month to a network of distributors who ship overnight to thousands of dealers worldwide. Sierra is the clear leader in the parts business, featuring the best warranty covering both parts and labor. You want your boat to go? Insist on Sierra quality parts. Sierra racing team running excellent right now. C77. The entire freeze frame video production crew would like to wish the Sierra racing team the very best of luck in this 1995 racing season with their brand new 28-foot Douglas skater. Sierra quality products. If you want your boat to go, insist on Sierra quality products. There's Taz on the outside. Taz, a 28-foot hydro lift on the outside in S-Class. Of course, Sierra in C-Class on the inside. Taz and Sierra. Head-to-head racing going on here in this 1995 Fort Myers Beach Grand Prix. S7, 7 up the Uncola, 28-foot Douglas skater, powered by two 200-horsepower Mercury outboards. The driver is Rich Ginsburg from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Throttle Don Smith, he's also from Fort Lauderdale. 7 up the Uncola S7. Home base, Fort Lauderdale. In 94, they were the world champions. Also, the Rookie of the Year, Rich Ginsburg in 94. And also, Southeast Regional champ in 1994, last year's season. Sponsors include 7 Up, the Uncola, Fujifilm, 4Play Marine, and Marty's Complete Automotive. 7 Up, the Uncola, used to race in C class, has gone down to S. S7, Rich Ginsburg and Don Smith. Some of the other competition in S class includes Liquid Sugar, Striking Distance, Locomotion running real good right now, Tiger Cat, Taz Motorsports, of course, Concattac, Vision Video Bermuda, Cutting Edge, In Motion, Little Hurricane, and of course we're watching 7 Up, the Uncola S7, the Uncola machine. Rich Ginsburg and Don Smith aboard this 28-foot Douglas skater. There's Mr. K on the outside in B class, a 33-foot power play. Mr. K now on the outside, passing the Uncola machine. 7 Up the Uncola on the inside. 7 Up the Uncola now coming into the picture on the inside. Great Lakes Caster. Great Lakes Caster. There it is. Great Lakes Caster on the inside. A 33-foot fountain. B96. C8 Torco, a 28-foot skater, powered by two 2.5 EFIs. The driver Tom Stagliano from Huntington Beach, California. Throttleman David Thomas, also from Huntington Beach. Torco's manufacturer of the two-cycle outboard motor oil. And Mr. David Thomas, the owner of Choices for all your boating apparel needs, custom driving suits and crew clothes. It's out of Huntington Beach. Many of the racing teams use them, and they do a terrific job. Choices, you're looking at C8 Torco with Tom Stagliano and David Thomas aboard. There are those two 2.5 EFIs. Tom and Dave aboard this 28-foot Douglas skater. Nice throttling job, David Thomas, out of Huntington Beach, California. Fort Myers Beach, Florida. Torco now heading for the buoy, going around the turn. And there is Mr. K there going around the turn on the right side. Torco now, and there is Sierra. Sierra and Mr. K. As we look ahead now, we see Taz on the right side. Taz, Sierra, Mr. K, and Torco moving up quickly. And there you see Taz on the right side. Torco now passing Taz. Taz might be having some problems, slowing down. There is Torco making its move and picking up speed quickly, as we also see Mr. K and Sierra. Bumpy waters here, Fort Myers Beach, Florida, as you can see. Torco now heading towards Sierra, and now making its move on Sierra. Good competition between these two boats, Torco and Sierra. Torco on the outside, of course, Sierra on the inside. Tom Stagliano and David Thomas. Torco now on the outside, making its move, smoking around this course, passing Sierra on the inside. Tom Stagliano and Dave Thomas doing an excellent job with this 28-foot Douglas skater. Torco. Now as we're back with S7, 7 Up the Uncola, we can tell you that another S boat has gone down. That's Taz. But right now, S7, 7 Up the Uncola, running excellent. It looks like 7 Up, Striking Distance, and Locomotion are all in the top of the pack, and it's shaping up to be a great final here, a final finish for these three S boats. Great competition going on here. S7, 7 up the Uncola, 28-foot Douglas skater. Aboard driver Richard Ginsburg, man Don Smith. They're both from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Freeze frame video. Like to wish 7 up the Uncola machine the very best of luck for the remainder of this race and the rest of the 1995 racing season. Rich Ginsburg and Don Smith. Right up there at the top of the pack in the highly competitive S-Class. We're now going with striking distance S3, 24-foot skater, powered by two 200 Mercury outboards. Driver Mike Bethan from Dania, Florida. Throttleman Bill Weinstock from Hingham, Massachusetts. Striking distance motorsports owner Suzanne Weinstock, as we said. Throttleman is Bill Weinstock. Driver Mike Bethan. Sponsors MSI Construction from Fort Myers, Florida. The Micah Shop. Also Okarad Sign Company. Teco Corporation. Boston Belting and Rubber. Fast Track Communications. And our crew, special thanks to Mike, Max, Mark, and Pete. Also special thanks to Albert Ensweiler, who built 2 strong motors. And of course, our wives, Suzanne and Veronica. And the moms, Marianne and Glo. Thank you for your help and support. Striking distance, S3, 24-foot skater. Striking distance in the top of the pack in S-Class. We had 11 boats entered in S, but a number of them have dropped out, including Cutting Edge, Lil Hurricane, Liquid Sugar, Taz Motorsports, In Motion, and Conk Attack. Right now, striking distance right up there. S3. Bill Weinstock and Mike Bethan doing a fine job aboard this 24-foot skater. We believe that 7 up the Uncola and Locomotion are battling for first place right now. Not really sure who's in first place, but that's a tight race right now between 7 up the Uncola and Locomotion in S-Class. Striking distance right up there in the top of the pack. Striking distance powered by 2 200 horsepower Mercury outboards. Now we've got Mobile One and Secret Agent. Battle going on there in Offshore Sea. Mobile One and Secret Agent. There you can see bow to bow, door to door, real close between these two boats in Offshore Sea. Mobile One and Secret Agent battling for position. There's Secret Agent on the outside, Mobile One on the inside, battling for second place right now in Offshore Sea. Second and third place right now. Harris Megabucks is in first place. Mobile One and Secret Agent. Great competition here right now in Offshore Sea. Secret Agent with a slight edge, but real close. Back and forth. Aboard Mobile One, we've got Tom Russell and Rob Loeffler. Aboard Secret Agent, Paul Whittier and Bud Jenkins. Both of these boats are 28-foot Douglas skaters. Very, very closely matched here. This great competition between Mobile One and Secret Agent. Mobile One, of course, coming off a win from Fort Pierce, Florida. Very close. Bow to bow. Bumpy waters here. Little flying going on here in Fort Myers Beach. There's the secret agent once again on the outside. Nice jump. Looks like we're going to get this race in before Allison moves in. It is heading our way. There's Christie's Photographics in A class there in the middle, being passed by Mobile One and Secret Agent. Mobile One now extending its lead over Secret Agent on the outside. Best of luck to Mobile One and Secret Agent in this race. Harrah's Megabucks, of course, in the lead right now in Offshore Sea. There they are with How Sweet It Is, Carl Myers, and How Sweet It Is on the inside. With Priority, Predator, Utterly Fantastic, Feeling Wet, and Pennzoil. There's Pennzoil. How Sweet It Is on the inside, a 40-foot skater for Carl Myers and Terriers. Terriers, the throttle man. Driver Carl Myers is also the owner of How Sweet It Is, powered by two 900-horsepower Raymont engines with Mercury drive. How Sweet It Is. Special thanks to Dunkin' Donuts, Days Inn, Bourbell Champagne, and Coors Light. Also, there we go on board now. On board How Sweet It Is with our onboard camera at the beginning of this race. Let's take a look there. Also, special thanks to Sweeteners Plus and DeSantis Chevy, crew chief Ken Lin and Keenan Sports Management. How Sweet It Is. 40-foot skater. Just listen to those Raymont engines. There's How Sweet It Is, of course. Great onboard shot. This is How Sweet It Is. Willie Schultz installing our 4 onboard cameras for this race. Back to our helicopter shot now. Carlton Myers and Terriers. Number 1 right now in this early moments of this race, this East Coast Resorts Offshore Challenge. How Sweet It Is has taken the lead. This race sometimes known as Thunder on the Water. There's a lot of thunder coming from this 40-foot skater right now. Number 1. How Sweet It Is now going around the first turn. Your leader. They're looking back on the field. There are the field of other boats, and there you can see How Sweet It Is. What a lead it has. Back on board now. This 40-foot skater, How Sweet It Is, was a brand new boat for last year's World Championships in Key West and ran right up there on the top of the pack. How Sweet It Is racing team would also like to thank Keenan Sports Management for public relations, and Freeze Frame Video would like to thank Mr. Carl Myers for transporting our equipment. Other boats in open class are Rolling Thunder 2, Screaming Eagle, and Fountain. But right now it's How Sweet It Is, number 1. Going around the turn there, as you can see. Bumpy waters here in Lake Ontario. Back to our helicopter shot. How Sweet It Is. Raymont engines, Mercury drive. our helicopter pilot, Harold Lennon from Aviation Services Unlimited. Going around the turn now. How sweet it is, still your leader. As you can see, pure daylight in front of him, no other boats. Nice throttling job there, Terrier. How sweet it is, just on fire here, just shot out of a cannon. How sweet it is, number 39, Eastern Express, 5th overall. Eastern Express, a 32-foot skater powered by two 700-horsepower Chevy engines with Mercruiser drives. The driver, Joe Brashami of St. Clair Shores. Throttleman, Bob Carrick, also from St. Clair. Eastern Express. Eastern Express in second place in M class. Now, the Eastern Express team has once again shown their dominance in the sport by capturing the Great Lakes Trophy Series for the second year in a row. Joe Brashami, owner of the team, commented that after the race at the Lake of the Ozarks, he said, "It is extremely difficult to repeat, so the pride I feel right now is overwhelming." Also, they are the North American champions due to the fact that the Eastern team did in fact have the best finish of any other U.S. offshore boat in its class. And the coveted number 1 will proudly be displayed on the side of the boat during the 1995 racing season. Eastern Express, and there it is, M1 on the bow. Other championships for this great racing team. We've got 1994 North American champs, the Great Lakes champs in '94, also the Central champions for that year. In 1993, they were the national champions, Central champions, and the Great Lakes champions. In 1992, the World Championship for the Eastern Express racing team. Bob Carrick and Joe Brashami. Currently in second place in M class. Eastern Express cooking right along here in Oswego, New York. Eastern Express going around the turn now. Eastern Express. As we look downfield, there is How Sweet It Is and Priority. Third and fourth in the modified. Back to Eastern Express, which is in second place right now in M class. And about 5th overall. Eastern Express would like to thank its sponsors, including Eastern Produce, Loctite Corporation, Mercury Marine, Paytech Engine Development, Chevy Power, Campus Creations, Environmental Science, Sunoco Racing Fuels, Trans Overseas, Image 10 Marine Finishing, and Custom Marine Exhaust. Eastern Express. Looking back on the field, it's How Sweet It Is. And there's How Sweet It Is. Carl Meyer's other boat, the 32-foot skater. Powered by two 700-horsepower Troy Denison boards with Mercruiser drives. How Sweet It Is, making its way through the pack now in third place in M class. On board this 32-foot skater today, driver Dan DeSantis from West Bridgewater, Mass. Throttleman Mark Hilsinger from Methuen, Massachusetts. The How Sweet It Is racing team would like to thank the sponsors, including Days Inn, Dunkin' Donuts, Corbel Champagne, Coors Light, Sweeteners Plus, and DeSantis Chevrolet, also crew chief Ken Lynn. And a special thanks to Troy Dennis Motors. How Sweet It Is in third place in M class. Making its way up the field. Nice throttling there, Mark Hilsinger with those two 700 horsepower to Troy Denison boards. Perlmeyer's other boat, the 40-foot skater, in open class right now, is first and open and first overall in this race. And, of course, this one here, the 32-foot skater, running excellent in third place in the modified and moving up. The House Sweeteners racing team would once again like to thank Days Inn for the fine accommodations. Also, Dunkin' Donuts and Richard DeSantis for helping out with this 32-foot skater. Unbelievable jump by how sweet it is. 77, a 28-foot skater, powered by 2.5 EFIs. Driver Dennis Berry from Illinois. Throttle-man Charlie Schaefer from Carlisle, Illinois. Sierra ran excellent in the first national race for APBA this season in Fort Myers. Sierra Quality Marine Hose, Engine and Drive Parts. Sierra is the marine marketing arm of Echelon Incorporated, a Fortune 500 company. Sierra is celebrating 30 years of serving the marine industry. Sierra delivers over 100,000 parts per month to a network of distributors who ship overnight to thousands of dealers worldwide. Sierra is the clear leader in the parts business, featuring the best warranty covering in both parts and labor. There is Obsession on the inside. With Harry Turner, of course, on the outside. Sierra, C77, Obsession in B class, Sierra in C class. Obsession and Sierra here, battle going on. The 88 Obsession. On the outside, C77 Sierra. If you want your boat to go, insist on Sierra Quality Products. Freeze Frame Video was proud to present Sierra with its cover photo for its 1995 Marine Parts Catalog. Sierra. C77 in first place in C class. Other competition at sea, Bodyguard, Burning Desire, Northern Pride, and Topaz. Right now, Sierra, number 1. Obsession again, Obsession in B class. The 88, Harry Turner and Mike Buer. On the outside, Sierra in C. Sierra just trying to make its move and pick up some distance on Obsession. C1 Bodyguard, a 28-foot skater powered by 2.5 EFIs. Driver Al Fiala from the Bronx, New York. Throttle-man Jeff Dindo from Wilmington, Massachusetts. Now, Mr. Fiala and the Bodyguard racing team would like to thank Fulton Motor Lodge for their excellent accommodations, Keenan Sports Management, Mr. Paul's Chop House in Roseville, Michigan for their sponsorship of this series, and Cody Marine, Jeff and Scott for their hard work getting the boat ready. And also Harry Perot and U.S. Offshore putting on another first-class event. And most of all, Mr. Fiala would like to thank his family for understanding why he was away and how important racing is in his life and supporting him 100%. Al Fiala also dedicated this race on Father's Day to his loving father, son. He's always there for him to pitch in and take care of business while he's racing. C1 Bodyguard, Al Fiala and Jeff Dindo aboard this 28-foot skater. Other boats in C class include Sierra, Northern Pride, Topaz, and Burning Desire. Bodyguard in the top of the pack in C class. C1. Nice throttling job by Jeff Dindo from Wilmington, Massachusetts. Driver Al Fiala from the Bronx. Nice handling now. Bodyguard, 28-foot skater. Just listen to those two 2.5 EFIs. Freeze Frame Video would like to wish the Bodyguard Racing Team good luck in the rest of this race and the rest of the 1995 racing season. Jeff Dindo and Al Faella for Bodyguard. story now as we see Dennis Kaiser going out for his World Kilo run. We can tell you some of the World Kilo records that stand. In Superboat Cat, we've got Tom Gentry with a record speed of 148 miles per hour. In the Pro Outboard, Bill Westbury holds the record at 113. A little over 110 miles per hour. Now, many of the drivers today will be trying to break those particular records here in Sarasota. There we hear the engines. Dennis Kaiser getting ready to go out for his World Kilo run and trying to get the record in the Superboat category. The World Kilo Run, just one of the many events scheduled here in this week-long festival here in Sarasota, Florida. There's the 46-foot skater going out into the Gulf of Mexico here for a little run. And there they go. They've started their World Kilo Run in the Superboat. And let's see how they do. We can also tell you that an offshore C-Class Mobile 1 got the World Kilo Run record at 111.072 miles per hour, beating the old record by about a mile per hour. Tom Russell and Bob Loeffler getting the World Kilo Run record in their 28-foot skater. Now, this 46-foot skater, Jaws, has now set the Superboat World Kilo Run record at 158. Abu Dhabi, a brand new 36-foot Douglas Marine skater, powered by 3 2.5 EFIs. The driver, Sheikh Zayed Al Nahyan from Abu Dhabi. Throttle Phil Duggan, he's also from Abu Dhabi. This is, as we said, a brand new 36-foot Douglas skaters, rigged and maintained by Ocean Outboard. Right now, it's dominating P-Class. It's in first place. Abu Dhabi, P19. Some of the other competitors in P-Class include Harmsco Hurricane, Catch This, High Risk, Bonanza, Patriot, Restore, Terminator, Beach Bull, and Full Throttle. Big class of P-boats, 10 boats in all, but right now we are with the leader who is dominating, P19 Abu Dhabi. Great competition in the Pro Outboard class. Sheikh Zayed and Phil Duggan aboard this brand new 36-foot Douglas skater. Now we can give you a list of some of the boats that have retired after the first lap. First off in Superclass, it's Outcone Motorsports and Jaws. They're out of the race. And also RMR Scarab Thunder in open class out after the first lap. And finally in the modified, it was Lip Ship Performance and Gone Again out of the race in modified. Right now it's P19 Abu Dhabi, #1 in P-Class, dominating Pro Outboard. Just listen to those Mercury outboards. They're performing quite well, doing their job here. 3 2.5 EFIs. This is the 1995 Suncoast Offshore Grand Prix. Armsco Hurricane, powered by three 2.5 EFIs. The driver, Steve Page from Fort Myers, Florida. Throttle John Christensen from Winter Haven, Florida. Of course, the owner, Mr. Hank Harms from Palm Beach, Florida. And Mr. Hank Harms is the organizer of the Prop Series race in West Palm Beach for the weekend of September 16th and 17th. Armsco Hurricane, P9. Armsco Hurricane holds the speed record at 113.3 miles per hour for pro outboard. They're also your 1994 SPR champion, 94 Props Series champion, took a third place in 94 APBA, second also in 1994 World Championships. Impressive record, P9 Armsco Hurricane. Armsco owner Hank Harms is racing to teach all children to swim. He's using all the APBA prize money to provide swimming lessons and water safety instructions for the kids. Armsco Hurricane in second place in B class, P9. Swapping the lead, going back and forth. They just seem to be sticking to each other. Sudden impact in Sierra. Great battle. Mobile One now on the outside, right in there. Your leader in C class at C77 Sierra, 28-foot skater, powered by two 2.5 EFIs, driver Dennis Berry, and throttleman is Charlie Schaefer. Sierra C77. Now, the main sponsor of Sierra is Sierra Quality Marine Hose Engine and Drive Parts. Sierra is the marine marketing arm of Eklund Incorporated, a Fortune 500 company. Sierra is celebrating 30 years of serving the marine industry. Sierra delivers over 100,000 parts per month to a network of distributors who ship overnight to thousands of dealers worldwide. Sierra is the clear leader in the parts business, featuring the best warranty covering both parts and labor. If you want your boat to go, insist on Sierra quality products. Also, special thanks to Klotz Oil, another sponsor of C77 Sierra. Now, Sierra took a second place in Detroit, the Great Lakes Classic, also a third in Cleveland, and a first in Oswego. Now, the Sierra racing team would like to thank crew chief Dennis Berry and the rest of the crew members on this 28-foot skater, Sierra. C77, your leader right now in C class. There they are, those two 2.5 Mercury outboards. Dennis Berry and Charlie Schaefer. Coming up now in C-Class, C4 Mobile One. Mobile One, a 28-foot skater, powered by two modified 200s. Mercury outboards. The driver, Tom Russell from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Throttleman, Rob Loeffler, also from Fort Lauderdale. Mobile One and Sierra on the outside. Now, Mobile One took a first place in St. Cloud, first place at Fort Pierce. I'd like to thank Wellesley Inn for the fine accommodations in Sarasota. Mobile One crew, your 93-94 Hall of Champions, also 92, 93, 94 national champions in stock class, and they hold the world kilo record in stock as well now in C class at 111 miles per hour. Mobile One, C4 with Sierra on the outside, a battle for first place here in C class. Tom Russell and Rob Loeffler. Driver Tom, throttleman Rob. Mobile One, C4. Doing a fine job. Sierra having a little bit of an advantage going around the turn. Mobile One. Tom Russell and Rob Loeffler. Great battle here. Sierra on the outside, pulling away slightly. Mobile One now coming up. Mobile One 28-foot skater. There you see Armed and Dangerous on the outside. Armed and Dangerous, 32-foot Mirage. Battle going on here between Mobil 1 and Armed and Dangerous in C class. There's Sierra. Sierra coming into the picture. You've got Mobil 1, Sierra, and Armed and Dangerous. Great battle here for position. First place in C class. Armed and Dangerous. Sierra in the middle. Mobil 1 on the inside. Sierra and Armed and Dangerous. Bow to bow. Competitive racing here. As you can see, calm waters here in Sarasota, making for very, very fast racing. Agent C32. Secret Agent is a 28-foot skater powered by two 2.5 EFIs. Driver Jackie Jenkins out of Arlington, Washington. Throttle Paul Whittier from Friday Harbor, Washington. Secret Agent C32. They're 1994 West Coast C-Class champs, and they did hold the 1994 kilo record, the world record, at 110 miles per hour, but Mobil 1 beat them this weekend, beating their record at 111 miles per hour. C32, Secret Agent, 2.5 EFIs. Nice throttling there by Mr. Paul Whittier. Some of the other competitors in C-Class. They include Harris, Megabuck, Sudden Impact, Courageous Cat, Mobil 1, Torco, Intense Marine, No Mercy, Armed and Dangerous, Flirting with Disaster, and Sierra. Right now, you're looking at Secret Agent. Two Mercury outboards, two 2.5 EFIs. You're watching the 11th annual 1995 Suncoast Offshore Grand Prix. The CNS starts here in Sarasota, Florida. Now coming into the picture is CA Torco with Cutting Edge on the outside. Torco, a 28-foot skater powered by two 2.5 EFIs. Driver Tom Stagliano from Huntington Beach, California. Throttle David Thomas from Huntington Beach, California. It's Torco on the inside, Cutting Edge on the outside. C8 Torco. David Thomas is the owner of Choices Racing Apparel for all your racing apparel needs. And some of the other sponsors include Torco Racing Fuels. Now, as we go by Patriot and P-Class in the middle with Torco and Cutting Edge on either side, we can tell you that Torco was your 1992 second place West Coast Divisional. Also 93 in the AA champ in the West Coast. In 93, they took the stock class West Coast Championship. 94, second place on the West Coast. And a third place in C class at the National APBA. They also took a second place in the Prop Series in C class. Torco, C8, 28-foot skater, Cutting Edge on the outside. Torco is rigged and maintained at Archer Marine. Once again, David Thomas, the owner of Choices Racing Apparel for all your racing apparel needs. David Thomas, throttle man, doing a fine job aboard this 28-foot skater. Cutting Edge and Torco bow to bow here. Great competition going on between these two boats, Torco and Cutting Edge. And now you can see Torco pulling away slightly from Cutting Edge as we see some of the Sarasota beach in the background. S7, a 28-foot Douglas skater powered by two 200 horsepower Mercury outboards. The driver is Richie Ginsburg from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Throttleman Don Smith, also from Fort Lauderdale. 7 Up the Uncola is first in the OPBRA, first in the stock class in APBA. He's doing excellent in SBR points and is first in the Prop Series, having an unbelievable season. They took a first place in Miami at SBR and a first place in Fort Myers Beach. 7 Up the Uncola S7. They are your 1994 world champions. Also, Richie Ginsburg, the 94 Rookie of the Year, and your Southeast Regional champs in 1994. Some of the other competitors in S-Class include Striking Distance, Liquid Sugar, In Motion, Cutting Edge, Locomotion, Cock Attack, Taz Motorsports, and Vision Video Bermuda. But right now it's S7. 7 Up the Uncola, 28-foot Douglas skater. Richie Ginsburg and Don Smith aboard. We had great competition, safe racing, though we did have one mishap. We had a mishap between Infinity and V's Auto Finance. Both boats collided and they flipped, but no major injuries, and everyone is okay. Now, before we go, we'd like to thank a few people. First off, Jim Kynes, also Gary and Nancy Johnson from our Freeze Frame Video production crew, our helicopter pilot, Russell Kilpatrick from Kilpatrick Helicopters, Preston Ewing from Universal Air, our other helicopter pilot. So, for Jeff Girardi, Pauline, and the rest of the Freeze Frame Video production crew, this is Vince Lipari wishing you a fond farewell from Sarasota, Florida, and hoping to see you in Point Pleasant, New Jersey for the second National U.S. Offshore race, or in Jacksonville, Florida, where we'll have 2 helicopters. Hope you enjoy the bikini contest. Bye, everyone. water. Throttle man Mark Hilsinger from Methuen, Massachusetts. An all-Massachusetts team. Now, the owner of How Sweet It Is, of course, Mr. Carl Myers from Canada's New York. And he's got the other How Sweet It Is boat. First overall here in this 1995 Maxon Auto Group Offshore Grand Prix. This racing team would like to thank a few people, including Troy Dennis Motors, also their sponsors, Norman Michelle over at Courtyard Marriott in Tinton Falls, Dunkin' Donuts people Chris Donnelly, Jane Minigill, Sweeteners Plus, and DeSantis Chevrolet, the crew chief, Mr. Richard DeSantis, and Joe Keenan from Keenan Sports Management for Public Relations. And once again, Dunkin' Donuts, Chris Donnelly, Jane Minigill. How Sweet It Is, M39 32-foot skater. Dan Sanders and Mark Hilsinger. How Sweet It Is in second place in the modified M39. Arasaki on the outside. Arasaki. Of course, Arasaki in open class. Carl Myers' other boat, the open boat, How Sweet It Is, right now the overall leader in the second national race for U.S. Offshore. Dominating super stock, it's C1 Bodyguard, a 28-foot skater powered by two 2.5 EFIs. Driver Al Fiella from the Bronx, New York. Throttle Jeff Dindo from Wilmington, Massachusetts. Bodyguard in first place in super stock. They are your 1994 champions in super stock for U.S. Offshore, and currently they lead in the Central Points, U.S. Offshore 1995. Bodyguard Racing Team would like to thank Chris Gogo at Mr. Paul's Chop House in Detroit, Michigan. Also, Keenan Sports Management for the public relations, doing a fine job there. Now, this boat is maintained by Mike Belgium, sometimes known as Beljar. Mike Belgium is also helping out freeze frame video for this race, and will also be doing that for the rest of the 1995 racing season. We appreciate the help that Mike Belgium is giving the freeze frame video production crew. Now, Bodyguard would also like to thank MF Electric, and Mr. Fiella would like to thank his family, including his children, Lisa, Michelle, and Albert. Bodyguard took a third place in Oswego earlier this year. Bodyguard right now on top, dominating super stock here in this Maxon Auto Group Offshore Grand Prix in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey. They're number one in super stock. It's Bodyguard. Some of the other competitors in super stock include Danka Sharp and Burning Desire. Northern Pride and Sierra are out of the race. Also in the modified class, Systems is retired. And in the production A, it's Team Progression and Cool Running out of the race here at the Maxon Auto Group Offshore Grand Prix. Right now, Bodyguard number one in super stock. And there's the many, many spectators along the beach watching the second national race for U.S. Offshore. Lots and lots of spectators at this event. The weather really cooperated. It's a beautiful day today. Blue skies, puffy clouds, water's somewhat calm, just a little bit bumpy, just to make it a little bit more competitive. Just a great day for racing here in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey. There is Jaws on the outside. Jaws is slowing down and now being passed by Bodyguard, which is on fire. Bodyguard, 28-foot skater, Al Fiella and Jeff Dindo doing a fine job. Bodyguard. Racing team for transporting our equipment in this 1995 racing season. How Sweet It Is took a first place in Oswego earlier this year, third place in Sarasota APBA, and in Key West and the worth of racing out of 15 boats. They came in second. How Sweet It Is has always run excellent, is a terrific racing team, and is running excellent today. First overall and first in open class. Now, the How Sweet It Is racing team would like to thank their sponsors, including Dunkin' Donuts. Special thanks to Jane Minigill and Chris Donnelly. In addition to Dunkin' Donuts, there's also special thanks to Corbel Champagne, Sweetness Plus, DeSantis Chevrolet, and Joe Keenan from Keenan Sports Management. We are on board now. On board, How Sweet It Is. And there you see on the right side of our picture, Shockwave there in the distance with our helicopter. Sterling helicopter, our helicopter pilot, Joe Parazuski. Other special thanks go to, as we were saying, Keenan Sports Management for Public Relations. Also Courtyard by Marriott in Tinton Falls, New Jersey, and the Marriott Residence in Lincroft, New Jersey. Also special thanks to the crew chief, Early Step, of How Sweet It Is. Dalton Myers and Terry Ayer are doing a fine job aboard this 40-foot skater, powered by two 900-horsepower Ray-Mach engines. Let's listen. There's our helicopter, Sterling helicopter there in the distance. Joe Parazuski doing an excellent job today. This 1995 Maxon Auto Group Offshore Grand Prix in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey. Other competitors in open class: Fountain, Tropic Heat, Arizaki, and Screamin' Eagle. How Sweet It Is, though, dominating the course right now. First overall. Back to a helicopter shot. What an unbelievable piece of machinery, this 40-foot Douglas skater. How sweet it is. What a great competitor this racing team is. Paul Myers and Terry Ayer. Once again, special thanks to Joe Keenan from Keenan Sports Management. Joe Keenan represents a number of racing teams in offshore racing and in public relations, and always does a fine job in promoting the drivers and the boats as well. Joe Keenan of Keenan Sports Management. Back with our onboard camera. How sweet it is in first place in open class and first overall. Just dominating this event. As you can see, the waters are fairly calm. We're getting a pretty steady ride here aboard this 40-foot scale. Very fast racing. Carl Meyer's other boat is 32-foot Douglas skater in the modified class right now in second place in the modified. So Carl Myers is having himself quite a day with his two Douglas skaters. A very competitive racing team. How sweet it is. C4 deck is sharp, a 28-foot skater powered by two 2.5 EFIs. driver Steve Thiel from Manchester, Connecticut. Throttleman John Flanagan from Glastonbury, Connecticut. Brand new boat, brand new team. With full throttle on the outside and B-class slightly ahead. Danka Sharp. This is their first race of the 1995 racing season. Their sponsors are Sharp Electronics from Mahwah, New Jersey, and Danka Industries from St. Petersburg, Florida. Now, as we said, this is a new race team for 95 with former 92 national champ Steve Thiel from the Whiplash Racing Team switching seats from driver to throttles, teamed with former 92 world champion and driver John Flanagan of Gone Bananas. The new 28-foot skater rigged and maintained by Ocean Outboard. Danka is one of the world's largest distributors of copiers and fax machines from St. Petersburg, Florida. Along with Sharp Copiers, will sponsor this year's race team. Danka and Sharp teamed up to be a world leader in copiers and facsimile machines with over 250 offices in the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, and the Netherlands. Thiel and Flanagan hope the new team is as successful as their old boats. They would like to thank their sponsors Sharp Danka along with Ocean Outboard. Right now, Danka Sharp C4 running excellent in C-Class. The Danka Sharp crew members include Keith Bedetti, Frank Todd, Tom Antonucci, and Heather Nichols. Danka Sharp, C4, 28-foot skater, currently in second place in C-Class, running excellent. Brand new 28-foot Douglas skater here at the second national race for U.S. Offshore. Two 2.5 EFIs powering Danka Sharp. As we go around the turnboat, there's Obsession. Had a problem earlier in the race. Obsession out of the race. Full throttle there you saw on the outside. Full throttle. Danka Sharp on the inside. Danka Sharp, brand new 28-foot Douglas skater. And now we're going to go on board. How sweet it is with Mr. Carl Myers and Terry Ayres getting a well-deserved checkered flag. And there's Carl Myers there on board his 40-foot Douglas skater. They dominated this race, first overall and first in open class. And there is the checkered flag. And there's Mr. Carl Myers going back into his cockpit there. A well-deserved checkered flag. Just a tremendous performance by How Sweet It Is. Now, the trophy in open class will be presented by Maxon Auto Group, Mike Chisuli. They'll be presenting the trophy for first place finish in open class to How Sweet It Is. Carl Myers and Terry Ayres waving it one more time here in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey. And we've got the lineup now. It's How Sweet It Is, Slam Jams, Aero Express, and Priority. It's a few moments away from the beginning of this race. And we've got the green flag now. It's the 5th annual Kent & Arrows Offshore Powerboat Challenge with How Sweet It Is. We're aboard How Sweet It Is now with Dan DeSantis and Mark Hilsinger. The owners are Carl Myers, M39. How Sweet It Is, too. Back to a helicopter shot now. It's How Sweet It Is, Slam Jams, Aero Express, and Priority. There you see Aero Express in the middle. How Sweet It Is on the inside. Early moments of this 5th annual Kent & Arrows Offshore Powerboat Challenge. Door-to-door racing, Aero Express, and How Sweet It Is. Bow to bow. There you can see it. Great competition. How Sweet It Is, a 32-foot Douglas skater powered by two 700-horsepower Troy Dennis inboards with Merc Cruiser drives. Priority coming up on the outside with How Sweet It Is on the inside. There's Aero Express in the middle. Aboard How Sweet It Is, driver Dan DeSantis from West Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Throttleman Mark Hilsinger from Methuen, Mass. How Sweet It Is. Now, the How Sweet It Is racing team would like to thank Troy Dennis Motors, also Dunkin' Donuts, Chris Donnelly and Jane Minigill, Corbel Champagne, Sweetness Plus, and DeSantis Chevrolet, and Keenan Sports Management for Public Relations. How sweet it is. 32-foot Douglas skater. Listen to those Troy Dennis inboards. Aero Express coming up on the outside. Aero Express. Aero Express, and how sweet it is. Great competition, bow to bow. Early moments of this race. There's Aero Express there on the outside. Aboard Aero Express, a 30-foot cat, Phil DeGena, Mike Camera, and John Buscema aboard Aero Express. Now we're on board M39. How sweet it is. With our helicopter tail, you can see Joe Parzewski from Sterling Helicopters out of Philadelphia. Mark Hilsinger and Dan DeSantis aboard this 32-foot Douglas Skater. How sweet it is, too. How sweet it is, too. It took a second place in Oswego and a second in Point Pleasant earlier in the moments of this race. There's Slam Jams now coming up. Slam Jams coming up on how sweet it is, too. Slam Jams making its move. Great battle here in Kent Narrows, Maryland. Slam Jams now picking up some room over how sweet it is. And now making its move on Aero Express, taking the lead. It's Slam Jams. How sweet it is on the inside. Here's Aero Express in the middle. Battle between these two boats, but it's Slam Jams that has taken the lead. Priority on the outside. What a race. What great competition here in Kent Narrows. It's Priority, Slam Jams, Aero Express, and how sweet it is, too. Slam Jams got the lead, but it's anybody's race right now. Slam Jams, the current leader. Aero Express, and how sweet it is, battling there for second place. Aero Express now. There's Aero Express and Slam Jams. Aero Express trying to catch up to Slam Jams. How sweet it is not going to be denied. Not going to stay behind there, trying to pick up some room. Dan DeSantis and Mark Hilsinger aboard this 32-foot Douglas Skater. Priority on the outside, right in the pack. Going around the turn now, it's all four boats pretty much bunched together, but Slam Jams the leader. With Aero Express, how sweet it is, and Priority. Beginning to reign, there's Slam Jams, number one, the leader in this Kent Narrows Offshore Challenge. Slam Jams, a 28-foot Douglas Skater powered by two 2.5 EFIs. Joe George is the throttle man. Joe, by the way, is the president of GLAPRA. Ray Konecki, the driver of Slam Jams. Now, sponsors include Slam Jam Sports Bars, also Lorraine Road Auto Body, McRae Metal Products, Torres & Sons Travel, and the Sign Factory. Slam Jam's the leader right now in this Kent Narrows Offshore Challenge. In 1993, Slam Jams was your Central Division High Points champion. There you see many of the spectator boats in the background here in Kent Narrows, Maryland. Slam Jam C-78 doing an excellent job. There's Aero Express, and how sweet it is on the outside. Slam Jam's on the inside. Yeah, Aero Express now pulling away slightly. There's how sweet it is on the outside, and going around the turn is Slam Jams now moving down to third. How sweet it is, Slam Jams, Aero Express now having taken the lead. Aero Express. And it's Slam Jams there on the inside. Slam Jams, 28-foot Douglas Skater. Joe George and Ray Konecki doing an excellent job. They were your 1993 Central Divisional High Point champions, as we mentioned. Also one of the crew members, Teresa George, marketing and public relations for the Slam Jams crew. Aero Express on the outside. Aero Express now picking up some room. Slam Jams and Aero Express fighting it out here. And how sweet it is on the outside. What a great battle here in this race. APBA regional race, divisional race here in Kent Narrows. Aero Express picking up a little bit of room, slight edge, but Slam Jams and how sweet it is in a battle for first place. Just listen to those two 2.5 EFIs. This 28-foot Douglas skater is singing around this course. Aero Express, and how sweet it is there, you see. In the distance, Slam Jams on the inside. C78. There is Slam Jams. Now, Slam Jams flipped over, and we're going to see some video of that taken by Vaughn Winters of Winters Construction aboard the Turnboat, owned by Cheney Enterprises. There's a slow-mo. There's a still-by-still shot. We'd like to thank them for that footage. Mr. Cheney, Richard Cheney of Cheney Enterprises, and there is Joe George exiting from the boat, and Ray Konecki still in the boat as it's flipping over. Now, Joe George and Ray Konecki both suffered injuries, but they're going to be okay. They're going to be fine. They see the boat flipping over one more time, and there is Joe George now being thrown from the boat. Ray Konecki still at the wheel in the boat as it flips over, and there you see the final flip. Slam Jams out of the race, but both crew members going to be okay.